Hey everyone, now that I've finished, I wanted to give my honest point of view of the game Reveil. Um, just to warn you ahead that there will be spoilers in this, so I'd suggest playing it or watching the playthrough before actually watching this, because it will contain information about the end and during the game. Right, so I think when you think of psychological horror now, you kind of go straight to okay, so this person obviously is going through acceptance about something, because a lot of, at least from the psychological horror games that I've played, they kind of follow that kind of narrative, and that's what you expect from it as soon as you start playing. And with the doors, doors that would constantly change around you and things, you kind of go straight to, oh, okay, so this is very laser fear inspired, so the story must kind of go on a similar tangent. So when it gets to the big twist towards the end, where you discover everything is completely different than you thought, it's quite a big, like a good one, quite a big surprise. You don't expect it, and it takes this turn where it's kind of pleasant to play because it is so different than you imagined. So I did like it in terms of that. I would have, I don't know, it's hard to say. Like, I would have liked a bit more time to explore that, because it takes a good chunk of the ending. But some things were kind of in your face straight away, and then you kind of had to work it out in your own mind and then go with it. And you kind of just go through the game not understanding, and then you have to think about it. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. I think it went very well. And the whole funhouse side of it as well, I really enjoyed that, because it felt very trippy, and it felt like a dream, which it was supposed to. And just, the added aspect of trying, it felt again very laser fear inspired, but when you had to hide from Martha when you were moving around the house and things like that, I did enjoy that as well, because it felt very scary and visceral, and you had a feeling like you weren't just going from place to place, like it was a take you through the game. You kind of had to make your own decisions based on that. I think that was very good too. If I had one complaint, and it's not a proper complaint, it will just be that there's several different endings. I haven't discovered them all yet. I've just gone through the ending that I got. But the ending that I got was very short, which in a way was annoying, because it's like you want a bit of an explanation to why it ended that way, and it was just very abrupt. It was like it ended credits. But at the same time, it kind of made sense that it was quick, because it shows that the character didn't have much of a choice. He knew that if he took this way out, his life would end because of it, and it showed the amount of control that the pupil had over him. The whole thing about his wife and daughter being memories, given to him, that was really good as well, because that was something you wouldn't see coming, because he was so invested. The one part that I was taken aback, and it was good, when it gets to the point where he has decided to cut the ropes that Martha is on, it felt very rushed. It was like he just decided to do it. And even when he was doing it, he was saying, "What am I doing?" and saying he didn't want to do it. But he just did it. And then afterwards, he felt so bad about it. And it didn't. I thought that was the main part of the game, and it was all real. So I didn't. It felt out of place and it felt rushed. But then to find out, it kind of was, because it wasn't his choice. It was what they decided. That made a lot of sense as well, because it kind of fit into the story where everything that happens can feel rushed because it's not his decision in the end, it's their decision. They're making him do these things and act this certain way. So I thought that was really good as well. Yeah, that was basically it. It was just it was a good game. There was a lot of twists and turns. There was a lot of where you'd ask, why is this happening? You wouldn't quite understand it, and then you would suddenly be confronted by the answer, and you just about have enough time to understand it before it moved on to the next thing, and it always kept moving forward, so you had to go along with it. And then when the game was finished, you have a chance to kind of dissect what happened and why it happened, and think, okay, did I like it this way, and did it fit? And in my opinion, everything fit in the way it was supposed to. It wasn't quite 100% the way I thought it would be. Like I said, the ending being so short. I'm sure not every ending is that short, but it felt right. So yeah, all in all, I would say it was a very good game with a lot of twists and turns and a lot of things that left you thinking and waiting to see what happened next, and then when it was over, making you want to go back and try and understand a little bit better. So it's something you don't mind looking back on, and I'm sure some people might have done more than one playthrough, and for all the collectibles and for the different endings and things like that. I haven't played another playthrough yet, but I do feel like this is something I would like to go back on, even though, as you could see from my many times I've stopped and started the stream again, some of the puzzles ended up being a lot more difficult than I expected, but sometimes that was just me. But the ending I found especially confusing, and I think that might have been my fault, because you have the 3 tape recordings. Like, there's 2 that you can get in the facility, but there is actually an extra one, but you have to go back to a previous chapter. And for every ending, you need different items. Like, you can't just pick up one of the chemicals, it's another one of the chemicals this time. And you have another set of mini puzzles and this bigger puzzle before you can actually get anywhere, which is why I chose the ending of just leaving, because at that point I wasn't quite sure what I was supposed to do. And that I would say that looks like the worst ending, because you don't really understand anything any better, because you're because you go to that club and you follow the signs and things like that, and then you're confronted with the ending, but trying to leave is just so abrupt. That's it, you're dead straight away. So it didn't explain that much, but at the same time it wasn't meant to explain anything, so it was kind of the right ending, but it was the worst ending. So yeah, in terms of out of 10, I would say 7 or 8, just for the facts. Like, most of it was perfect in the aspect of the circus and the illusions and how a lot of it, like when you go on the ghost train or when you go in the fun house and everything moves and it's just like you're actually there. And the where you're sneaking around Martha and when you go into your house and things are a little bit different and all that kind of stuff. It was spot on for that. The only thing that took it a bit lower was, as I said, the ending being so abrupt. So it's something where you would definitely get the most out of it to go back and try to get each ending, try and collect all the collectibles to, fully be engaged in the story. But you can still be engaged with the story, it's just you don't get the same amount out of it. So I would definitely recommend it. I would say don't go into it with impossible expectations because you need to. And like a lot of people, when they hear about psychological horror, they hear the horror and they think, oh, this is going to be so gory, so jumpy, and all that kind of stuff, like a horror movie. But it's more about symbolism and the feeling it leaves in the ambience and things like that. So don't go into it expecting this great Oscar-winning horror movie. Just go into it expecting to have fun and to have your mind twisted. So yeah.